What if the very thing that makes you feel in control of quality is the thing making quality worse? Many leaders rely on inspection as a safety net. Catch the defects at the end, sort the good from the bad, protect the customer. But that habit can quietly drive up cost, normalize rework, and hide the real weakness in the system. When quality depends on detection instead of design, the organization gets better at coping with failure instead of preventing it. Today's idea is simple, but it challenges a very common management reflex. When defects appear, the usual response is to add another check, another approval, another inspector, another report. It feels responsible. It feels like control. But very often, it means the system is producing problems faster than the organization can sort them. W. Edwards Deming put it bluntly: inspection to improve quality is too late, ineffective, costly. That does not mean inspection has no place. It means quality does not begin there. Quality is created upstream, in design, methods, training, materials, maintenance, and management decisions. To hear what that looks like in practice, imagine a small manufacturer that believes it is being careful when it is actually learning to live with defects. On the edge of town, Hartwell Fixtures made custom metal display racks for local retailers. The company was respected, orders were steady. The owner, Elena, was proud that every rack was inspected before it shipped. But inside the shop, a different pattern had taken hold. Welds were sometimes rough. Powder coating occasionally bubbled. Mounting holes did not always line up. Nothing was disastrous on its own, but enough defects were found at final inspection that rush orders became routine. When a shipment was late for the third time in a month, Elena walked into the inspection area and saw three things she had stopped noticing: carts full of rework, operators waiting for decisions, and inspectors arguing over whether a batch was acceptable.
What's the fastest way to get this back under control?
We are catching most of it. If we add one more inspector on second shift, we can clear the backlog.
That answer sounded practical, but Elena hesitated. More inspection had been the answer for months. The backlog was still there. Scrap was up, overtime was up, customers were growing less patient. Later that afternoon, Elena reviewed the pattern with Marcus. The same defects kept appearing, only in different orders and different quantities. One week it was drilling, another week it was coating, another week it was warped components from a supplier. The company was not dealing with isolated mistakes. It was living inside a system that regularly created work that had to be sorted, repaired, or excused. She remembered a quote from Deming that stayed with her because it was so plain. Our system of make and inspect, if applied to making toast, would be expressed, "You burn, I'll scrape." That was exactly what Hartwell Fixtures had built. Make the rack, find the defect, grind it, re-drill it, recode it, expedite it, apologize for it. Somewhere along the way, they had confused recovery with quality.
If inspection is our main defense, then we are planning to make defects.
Then where do we start, if not at the end?
They started by following the defects upstream instead of pushing them downstream. They looked at fixture wear on the drilling station. They reviewed incoming variation in tubing from one supplier. They found that a training shortcut in setup had become normal practice on busy days. Inspection did not disappear, but it changed purpose. Instead of acting as a sorting wall at the very end, inspection became a source of feedback about the process. Marcus began charting recurring defect patterns. Supervisors stopped treating rework totals as proof that the quality system was working. Elena stopped praising heroic saves that depended on overtime and last-minute sorting. Within weeks, the shop changed in small but important ways. Operators had clearer setup standards. The worn fixture was replaced. Supplier conversations became more specific. Schedules were less chaotic. Inspectors spent less time debating borderline defects and more time helping the teams see where the process was unstable. The improvement was not magical. Some defects still appeared, but the piles of rework shrank and lead times became more predictable. The same people who had once been blamed for defects started taking pride in producing racks that moved through without repair. Hartwell had not become excellent because it got better at catching defects. It got better because management stopped treating inspection as the place where quality would be achieved. If this idea feels uncomfortable, that is usually a good sign. It asks leaders to move their attention away from visible detection and toward the less visible conditions that actually create results. First, notice where your organization uses checking, sorting, approval, or rework as a substitute for understanding the process. Those activities may sometimes be necessary, but they should not be mistaken for quality itself. Second, ask what management decisions are making defects likely. Look at training, methods, maintenance, design choices, handoffs, scheduling pressure, supplier variation, and the clarity of the work. That is where quality is made or lost. Third, treat inspection as a learning mechanism, not a comfort mechanism. If data from inspection does not lead to process improvement, then it is mostly just recording the cost of failure. Deming also wrote, "The quality of the product is the responsibility of management, working with the customer." That is a demanding idea, but it is also liberating. It means leaders do not have to spend forever searching for better ways to sort defects. They can build systems that make better outcomes more likely from the start. When leaders stop asking, "How do we catch the defects?" and start asking, "What in our system is producing them?" the whole conversation changes. Quality becomes less about sorting and more about learning, less about blame and more about design, less about scraping burned toast and more about making good toast in the first place. Better results do not depend on working harder at the end. They depend on building a better system from the start. When that happens, people can do work they are proud of, customers can feel the difference, and over time, better work becomes a true competitive advantage.